Right now, we're live at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United against Charlton.
Destination football.
Yes! Oh! It's in! My goodness, have you ever seen anything like it?
For football special.
Van Nistelrooy, 2-0.
They're closing in, and it's been a blistering run that's got them within touching distance. They're unbeaten this year. It's 7 wins from the last 8 and 23 goals in that spell. United have hit the gas just at the right time.
Paul Scholes! He's done it again. Talk about turning on the style. Giggs! The Premiership pendulum swings Manchester United's way. Hail Ruud van Nistelrooy. Manchester United believe they're heading to the title.
They win today, and Arsenal don't tomorrow, they will have won the title. They're 8th in 11 seasons. If they win here today and next week, it doesn't matter what Arsenal do. It's Old Trafford today. United play Charlton and could be 8 points clear before the Gunners play again. We are, of course, with them tomorrow. We want our trophy back. That was the cry from the United faithful at White Hart Lane last week. Well, the trophy is back this week. Is it staying back? Brian?
Yes, I think United will keep the trophy now, or they'll get it back. I just feel that last week it said a lot. Arsene Wenger's reaction when Bolton got the equaliser, Sir Alex's reaction when Van Nistelrooy scored the second goal. Two total different reactions, and I think United now are focused, and they'll probably bring the cup back here.
How much damage will the game at Bolton last week, I was going to say the defeat, it must have felt like that to Arsenal, will that game have inflicted on the Gunners?
Devastating. I mean, to draw that game when they were so comfortable in such a vital part of the season, you know, I mean, Arsenal, just, you can't believe it, a club with their professionalism, it was immense, you know. I suppose, looking onto it now, what can Arsene Wenger do but pray and hope that Charlton do something here today. I agree with Brian, the disappointment showed in his face. I mean, he almost showed his hand with a couple of games to go, but they'll still be rooting for it, they'll still be trying, and I hope, you know, I think there will be another twist or two. I'm not so sure it's straightforward where you win their 3 games.
Where?
Well, I think Everton on the last day, you got to go to Goodison Park. I mean, that's not the easiest place if the thing is still alive. So I think that'll be Arsene Wenger's real sort of battle cry, you know. They've got to go to Goodison, lads, let's put in 2 good performances.
Teams in a minute. Before that, do you think it will still be alive on the last day?
Yeah, I do. I think Arsenal will win the 2 home games to get to the last game. And then you've got to say that Arsenal then would go into it, and, you know, they've got the easier fixture on paper. I agree with Niall. Everton's going to be a real tough game for United, last game of the season, and I'm sure that they would like to win it before they actually get there.
Well, not surprisingly, it's the same again for Manchester United today. Same 11 that started at White Hart Lane. Roy Carroll continues in goal. Fabian Barthez, who didn't stay at the Lane with the news that he wasn't playing last week, is amongst the substitutes today. Paul Scholes has been ill overnight, but does play. That's Manchester United. The same again for Charlton. They have last week, and this problems at the centre of their defence. No Rufus, no Gary Rowett, no Mark Fish. So it's the same 11 that beat Southampton last week. 4 points from 24 is Charlton's current run. Barclaycard Premiership, Manchester United of course top, 5 points clear. They played a game more, it'll be 2 more after this afternoon's fixture. Arsenal play against Leeds tomorrow. We're there at White Hart Lane from 3:30. 3 jockeying for Champions League places: Newcastle, Chelsea and Liverpool. It's Newcastle against Birmingham today, who have won their last 4. Chelsea of course go to West Ham. Liverpool play Manchester City. Everton also jockeying for a European place of course with Blackburn. Behind them it's Tottenham, Charlton and Southampton. No applicants for the I was going to call it the Inter2 Bob Cup, the Intertoto Cup this year, apart from Newcastle United, who will qualify for Europe anyway. £503,000 a place, remember, from the bottom up. Sunderland, West Brom, already relegated. If West Ham lose today and Bolton win at Southampton, and that's live later as a pay-per-view game, then West Ham go down because the goal difference is too much to make up with what's left. Leeds United, of course, play tomorrow at Highbury. Then it's Fulham, Villa, Middlesbrough, Birmingham and Manchester City. And right now, Fulham and Aston Villa also looking back over their shoulders. It's Charlton here today then, and Alan Kirbishley is with Jeff Shreves.
Alan, 14-1 outsiders. Are you insulted?
Not really. I think if you look at the team we're playing against and what's at stake and everything else what's going on, yeah. But I remember a couple of years ago we was 13-1 to beat Swindon at our place to do something great, and we got done 1-0. So let's see what happens.
Does that sort of thing motivate your players, do you think? The fact you've been written off?
I think what's motivated us a little bit is the fact that we're playing Man United. Secondly, obviously on the TV, and thirdly, yeah, the fact that everyone just thinks this is going to be a simple morning for Man United, and you know, we're here. We don't want to be anyone's whipping boys, and I'm not bothered about Man United or Arsenal. I'm more concerned about us.
What is the target for you? Top 10 finish at the least?
That's what I think we deserve. That's what I think we should be. And to do that, we've got to pick some points up. And if we don't do anything today, then we've got to win next week. If we do something today, then great. You know, next week is a bonus for us.
Good luck today.
Yeah, thank you.
We shouldn't dismiss them because, as the boys were saying, there are twists and turns to come yet. But I don't think there are too many at Old Trafford today that fancy Charlton too much. Who's been the player of the year here this year?
For me, Paul Scholes. You know, everybody's going to say Ruud van Nistelrooy because he scored 40 goals, incredible ratio per games. But for me, I've seen a lot of Man United this season, and Paul Scholes has been outstanding from the start of the season right through to the end.
In different positions as well, and once again they start with Solskjaer left today, Giggs further up front, but there have been times of late when he's played on that left-hand side too.
Well, it is,
Where's he more effective?
Well, he's played through the middle as a centre-forward. He's played just in behind the striker. He's played on the left side of midfield, and he's also played in the centre of midfield. You know, he's a utility player, and Salek, you know, selects him to play in certain positions for different games. And the thing with Scholes, he never moans, complains. He just gets on with the game. But for me, from the centre of midfield, he gets in his timing of his run into the box. He scores so many crucial goals for Man United from that position.
I'm also thinking back to St James's Park when he played left side in 4 and got a hat-trick. Can he, ironically, sometimes find maybe a little bit more space like that, almost Freddie Ljungberg-like?
Well, he does, because what he does, he drifts in from the width, and he gets himself in a dangerous position, and full-backs don't know whether to stay with him, whether to pass him on to the centre-half, whether a midfield player is going to pick him up. But he's so clever. You know, he's a clever player, Paul Scholes. He's got great football brain on him, and he does get himself into these half areas where certain defenders don't know whether they should come out, pick him up, whether midfield players should drop back and pick him up, and that's what makes him a great player, because of the intelligence of the lad.
He's the only player from Manchester United now named in the PFA Premiership Team of the Year. Now, is that a little surprising to you that others weren't, and that so far they haven't picked up any of the prizes available?
No, it's a big disappointment. I think the voting procedure, the players, if it's the same as when I was playing, you get your forms in the middle of March, and whoever played well the Saturday before generally tends to be put down in most players' form. And
it is staggering, isn't it? I mean, in fairness, they just invented the telephone when you started, so I suppose that was about the only system they could use. But in the days of email, for goodness sake, surely it can
I think it'll have to be looked at. I mean, basically what happens, your PFA rep comes in, he hands a load of letters out one morning and says, I need them back in 10 minutes before training starts. So you kind of rush in and you look at the paper and say, oh, such and such scored a hat-trick Saturday, I'll stick him in on the left. And it's not done correctly, and I disagree totally. And also I think in Paul Scholes' case, he's such an unassuming lad that sometimes we overlook that he is one of the great players. You know, he doesn't chase the glamour and the headlines, he just does the business on the pitch, and sometimes footballers can be taken away by all the glitz and glamour on the pitch and off the pitch.
Is that one of many attributes that he's got, that he doesn't go searching for headlines?
I think it helps him to be, you know, a real stable footballer. He doesn't like great publicity. He just like Niall says, he just gets on with the game, and he is an unassuming lad, great trainer. But he's the same in training, you know. Now and again, he's got this little bit of toughness about him, you know, Paul Scholes, and people sort of, you know, they dismiss that and they don't.
So are they mistimed tackles or are they perfectly timed?
No, well, he's a forward, so I think sometimes they miss time, but he has got this toughness, and I always think great players need a little bit of that to the side of the game.
How well has Rio Ferdinand done this season?
I think he started off and it took him time to settle in, a little bit shaky, he made a few mistakes. He had problems with injuries, niggling injuries as well though, and he kept getting different partners as centre-halves. You know, everybody was being used in there by Salas because of injuries. Since Christmas, he's come back, he's had no problems with injuries. He's more or less had stable defender, you know, with Wes Brown alongside him most of the time, and I think that's helped Rio. And now I think he's just coming on now to show what a great player he will be. I still think he's still got a little bit of learning to do on his defending. I'd like to see him be a more tough, resilient defender rather than try to be a perfect centre-half footballer.
Well, nothing for Manchester United, of course, last year when he wasn't here, but he says they are determined to finish the season with something this time around.
No one rests on their laurels, and you've got to make sure we're successful every year. Last year was a big disappointment, I'm sure, to everyone that was here. I've come in this year, and the first things that were said earlier in the season that we have to win something this year, and we've put ourselves in a good position now, and we don't want to mess up.
How have you got yourself back into this position?
I think we just worked hard and concentrated on our own games and not thought about anybody else. I mean, if we kept on looking at other people and looking above us on the table, it might have got to us, but I said, the manager always said, just take care of your own results and things hopefully work out for themselves.
Did you believe him when he said that?
There were times when he thought it could be a bit of a long shot, but I said, you've always got to have belief, and I think we've shown that. I mean, we've had big injuries throughout the season, and the players who have come in and played have been brilliant, as I said, and that's what you need if you're going to win championships. You need people to come in and play, and when people drop, not to moan and to get on with it, and that's what we've got here, a professional bunch of lads who get on very well together.
What do you think brought about the turnaround as such?
I think the results we got over the period just around before Christmas, I think it's just before Christmas or just after, when we had the 3 games against massive clubs, against Arsenal at home, Newcastle at home, Liverpool away, and everybody expected us to get beat because there were certain players not able to be put into the team and whatnot, and we managed to get the results there, and I think that really did kick-start our season.
How exciting are these times for you? Because this is all very new to you.
Yeah, definitely. It's very exciting. It's something that I wanted, and I've come here to achieve things, and said we've got 2 more hurdles to go now, and hopefully we can jump them easily and get through. You know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very hard to win both of the games, but so that's what I come here for, these kind of situations.
Do you fancy a day out against him, Niall? Was he always easier to play against than one that was looking to rough you up?
No, because he's one of those defenders who's got everything. You know, he's such a strong lad. He can compete with you physically, which was always my advantage against players. But then when the ball was sort of down on the ground, you know, he could match the best, the quickest. And since he's come here, I think he's learned the habit of winning a little bit better. You know, and the more they win, of course, the better he'll become. And if this is to be his first championship, I mean, you'd have to say he looks like the type of man who'll go on to be around and be winning things for a long time to come.
This is what they've got left, Manchester United and Arsenal. United against Charlton here today. Arsenal play Leeds tomorrow. We are live at Highbury from 3:30. May the 7th, the Gunners meet Southampton at Highbury. It all finishes, of course, on May the 11th. Manchester United at Everton, Arsenal at Sunderland. If United win their last 2, doesn't matter what Arsenal do. But you suspect there are twists and turns to come yet, as there have been, none more so than at Bolton last week.
That's a good ball. It's a great ball. Now, come on! Who's in the middle? Get in there! Come on, yes! Oh, yes! Come on, you Gunners! We're going top! Come on, you Gunners! Yes! Come on!
Ulrich, Arsenal looking for another. Pires.
Look at that! It's that easy! It's that easy! Come on! It's 2-0 to the Arsenal!
Go on, have a crack.
Oh! Yeah! Come on! Come on!
That wasn't as easy as it looked. Bolton are back in it.
That's an own goal, isn't it?
Arsenal have slipped up.
Yes! Yes!
Martin Keown own goal, the moment that was so costly.
There we go, Big Sam, shake my hand. Good lad, W2, all of the Reebok crowd. You're there with the 40 pints.
Giggs. Paul Scholes! Yes! Scholesy! Fortune. Van Nistelrooy. Hail Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Ruud van Nistelrooy! Oh, what a finish!
Manchester United believe they're heading to the title.
Fanzone, of course, available once again this afternoon for Sky Digital viewers. As we all say, push the red button, follow the instructions. The race for the title reaches Old Trafford today. It's Manchester United against Charlton. Win here and United go 8 points clear before Arsenal play tomorrow. And if you're wondering like me, the music is being provided by a barbershop quartet, which I'm also happy to report there is some confusion about around Old Trafford as well. Thank you, gentlemen. Here's Sir Alex Ferguson and Jeff Shreves.
You're in pole position. What's the dangers now?
Well, football is full of dangers. You can never be sure of the game because that's the nature of it. It can come rear and kick you in the teeth any moment. It only takes a second to score a goal. It only takes a second to lose one. But in the main, I'm happy the team is in great form. There's a good confidence. There's a great team spirit in the dressing room. I think these are important things getting into a match of this importance.
Is focus the key word?
Well, I think there has been a good focus the last 2 or 3 months. I think that the players have got down to it. They've worked really hard and they've played some great football. And we just need to keep our focus, as you say, on today's game.
It's the last home game of the season. The supporters already got a good air about them. They're all very happy. Do you have to guard against being lulled into that?
Well, I think they've been through all these things. I wouldn't expect that to rear its head today. I think that they know that concentration and playing as a team is going to be important today.
What made you decide to go with Roy Carroll today as opposed to Fabian Barthez?
Well, he did very well last Sunday at Tottenham. I was very pleased with him. And the team came through a very exacting test in the sense of going down to Tottenham, scores 0-0 up to 20 minutes to go. The team showed great patience and resolve, and I think these are reasons I'm going ahead with that team today.
Was there a doubt about Paul Scholes at all?
There was a little doubt, yes. He had a little bit of diarrhoea on Thursday, but it was much better yesterday. He's had all the fluids and he's now had his food, taking his food, and hopefully he's back to normal.
So as far as today goes, you just focus purely on today and one step closer to the title.
Let's hope so.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, they'll be hoping they are the next generation. Manchester United's youth team with silverware. The rest of Old Trafford will be hoping it's not the only silverware, of course, they parade here this season. That's most of the boys. One missing, Ben Collett, who broke his leg in a reserve game this past week. He's watching in hospital, and we wish you well. Brian, you were here. Do they fill you full of optimism and hope? Because it's fair to say there's been a dearth, hasn't there, of youngsters pushing. John O'Shea's perhaps an exception, but there's not been many.
I was going to say there's only been John O'Shea.
That's fair. But he would want more when you think there was a generation that produced Giggs and Scholes and the Nevilles.
I don't think you're ever going to have another generation come through like that. I mean, that was unbelievable when all those lads come through, the Nevilles, Giggs, Scholes, Beckham, but yeah, you know, to get 6, 7 who have all come through to be international players, that's an incredible block of youngsters to bring through. But there is some of those kids there. You nearly always get in a FA Youth Cup winning team, there's nearly always 1 or 2 come through and become Premiership top players.
Richardson's played, of course, in the Premiership.
Well, Richardson has, and for me, he's probably one out of that batch who does look as if he's got the mentality and the ability to be a top player in the Premiership. But there's a couple of the other boys in there who've also got good chances.
Would you believe David Beckham was 28 yesterday? Will he get the birthday present that he might be looking for today? A goal, perhaps?
Well, this is his type of game to score in. You know, when it really matters, Bex always comes up trumps. I know we've been talking about his free kicks and he hasn't particularly scored as many with the ratio that...
17 free kicks in the league, 8 on target, no goals. The only goal United have scored direct from a free kick this season, as we heard last week, Juan Sebastian Veron against West Ham United.
Bex saves them up for England.
And Champions League.
Yeah, and Champions League. Yeah, but he's a great player, and you know, like I say, he rises to the big games and he knows that this is a really big game, and I'm sure we'll see a good performance by Dave. He's had a couple of games where he's been rested by Sir Alex, but last week down at Torham he showed the great ability.
Do you think he'll celebrate his 29th birthday here?
Yes, I do. I think all these young lads who come through, they've got a bond together, and I think especially if they win the championship this year, that'll keep them all together again. And I think it'll be other areas where Sir Alex will be looking to change things around just slightly. But with all the lads who've come through, I think they want to stay at Man United. I think the fans want them to stay at United, and Sir Alex knows he's had a load of success with these kids coming through, and he wants to keep that group together.
How much better are they with him in their starting lineup?
Well, in the big games, because he's such a big game player, you know, you feel he's always going to do something. I mean, he wasn't on the pitch, 15-20 minutes against Real Madrid, and he's responsible for 2 goals. Maybe, you know, over a period of time, it's not as exact the fact that he scores these goals. He sometimes does save them up for big games, but you know, what better place? Your last home game just before you lift the Premiership. I mean, you almost get the feeling he's going to score a goal today. I mean, it's so much hype in the press about what he's doing, whether he's going to go. It'll just be another sort of twist in the tail should he be the one that breaks the deadlock and scores a great free kick today.
Ruud van Nistelrooy plays his 100th game for Manchester United today. 76 goals in 99 games to date. The best ever, Sir Alex Ferguson reckons he could be. In recent weeks, just like the old football song, he's been here, there, everywhere.
Turn it out so I can see the part of you that's drifting over me. And when I wake, you're never there. And when I sleep, you're everywhere. 'Cause you're everywhere to me. And when I close my eyes, it's you I see. Everything I know that makes me believe I'm not
Ruud van Nistelrooy. Charlton haven't won a Premiership fixture against Manchester United. Their last win here, well, in fact, it's only one in 64 years, 2 months before Sir Alex Ferguson was appointed as manager. So who do the bookies fancy? Manchester United, 7-1 on. Let's join our match commentators, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Extraordinary odds really, aren't they, in a 2-horse race. Just a word on Ruud van Nistelrooy. He has finally got an award. He got Player of April, but none of the annual ones. Of course, different voting time. A little bit surprised about the football writers who've only voted recently, but that's by the by. But I mean, it is amazing, Andy. We were privileged to see goal number 40, and we've seen a good few of the previous 39 as well.
I think he's been stunning, Martin, and I don't think that's an over-exaggeration what he's achieved. When you think that most of the season, this is a lad who has played pretty much up front on his own, and he's had support players play up alongside him rather than a strike partner as such. And when you think about that and you think about the goals, and particularly the level that he's getting them at, not just at the Premiership but Champions League level, it's an astounding achievement.
Set a new record in the Champions League.
It's fantastic, and I am really surprised, not so much with the players, because I do think the Players' Union, I agree with the lads, I do think they voted at the wrong time, and it's something that needs to be looked at and addressed. But I'm really surprised the football writers, maybe there's more London-based football writers than Northern-based, and that might have swayed it Thierry Henry's way. But I don't think you can deny that Henry has been a magnificent player. But Van Nistelrooy would rather win the Premiership, Martin, than an individual award. I bet you any money.
And he's hungry for more goals. You can be absolutely assured of that. Let's check the teams for you. Gary Neville out of the reckoning for Manchester United, a recurrence of his foot trouble. But all those ruled out for their countries on Wednesday are fit today, including Ruud van Nistelrooy, John O'Shea and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the other two. So it's the same 11 that saw off Spurs pretty comfortably last Sunday, with even better backup in Butt and Veron, who returned to the bench today. As you've heard, Paul Scholes was a doubt. He's been ill. He felt rotten overnight, but he does start, and you can understand the wish of Manchester United to get the in-form golden man out there to play the number 18, Paul Scholes. Charlton come to Old Trafford without their top 3 centre-backs, Rufus, Fish and Rowett. So Luke Young, normally a right-sided player of course, continues alongside the emerging Jonathan Fortune. And indeed it is the same 11 that got Charlton back to winning ways against Southampton last weekend, when Scott Parker, the young midfield player who's had an outstanding season, scored a splendid individual goal.
Well, the only thing you'd look at when you look at Sir Alex side, Mark, no surprise to see in Gary Neville's absence, that the back four and the goalkeeper stay the same. I'm not surprised at that. The other part was, would he change what's ahead of that, Sir Alex? And we've got Scholes and Solskjaer and Giggs in these positions here. And if it works, then I think it's fine. If Ryan Giggs is having joy, Martin, and he's running in behind and he's getting joy, and sometimes when a team plays deep, he doesn't. So it'll be interesting to see. And if Ryan doesn't get any joy, don't be surprised if Sir Alex does that. Puts Ryan back on the left-hand side and then gives Van Nistelrooy a proper strike partner. That is the other option that I think we might see today. If Charlton defend that deep and there's no space in behind for Giggs to run into, then he may revert to this system. Well, Alan Curbishley, as you said, the heart of your defence has been ripped out, and he's had to go with Fortune and Young, 22 and 23 years of age. But there's a huge onus in Parker and Jensen. Scott Parker's growing reputation will be really tested today. It's a huge stage for this young lad in here, but one I think he's going to enjoy, and it's important that he and Jensen protect these two as much as possible. I think they might do a lot of defending today, and they're going to rely on the break. It might be that Euell, Martin, just drops in a little bit like that. They might leave Bartlett up top on his own when they don't have the ball, but when they get it, then you can expect Euell, and particularly Lisbie from the right hand side, getting up and support. But it's important when they lose the ball that they get like that. They're nice and tight and compact, and even Euell dropping off there to make life difficult for United. Frustrate them would be the word I would use for Alan Curbishley's team.
Manchester United leading the Premiership marathon into its closing stages. Still looking fresh, hoping that Arsenal have hit the wall, to use the jargon of the long-distance runners, but still aware that the race is not yet over. Well, they're ready. Charlton finished their season a year ago here with a goalless draw. A repeat today in their final away game this time around would certainly help keep the title in London. And with Chris Powell at the head of the line, some talk about possible retirement at the end of this season. He assured me yesterday that is not the case. He's just renegotiating. And they do have a big Arsenal fan in their ranks, Charlton. It is this fella, Jason Euell, a big Arsenal fan, certainly a goal threat for Charlton today. Well, will this be the weekend that decides the destiny of the Championship? Whatever happens, it starts here at Old Trafford, where Manchester United play for the final time this season. The would-be champions against Charlton Athletic. It's live right after the...
The race for the title brings us to Old Trafford. It's Manchester United and Charlton today. Tomorrow we go to Highbury, of course. Arsenal meet Leeds then. Sky Digital viewers wish to go interactive, push the red button on the remote control. You'll find Fan Zone there amongst other options. Stuart Aspinall and Mark Goss commentating today. Player cam for the first 15 minutes. Paul Scholes, who is in form. Commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. Manchester United generally approached their penultimate match in good shape. They played very well at Tottenham last time out. The only points they have dropped since February came at Highbury in that draw. That meant Arsenal dropped the same amount and maybe just dropped their heads a little as well. Been some overnight rain. Mark Halsey, the referee who red-carded Sol Campbell against Manchester United just 2.5 weeks ago. Charlton will now finish in one of the 6 places between 8th and 13th. That means their campaign has been a success. If United don't regain the Championship, that will be deemed a failure, particularly from this position. Such different levels of expectation. How will they match up here? Ferdinand's header, South London boy, of course, against the South London club. Forward by Chris Powell. And leaning on by Bartlett, who wasn't involved with South Africa in midweek. He's had a bit of an altercation with the federation there. Whether we'll see him for the South Africans against England later this month remains to be seen. We're certainly seeing Roy Carroll playing his 9th Premiership game of the season. One more and he qualifies for a medal should Manchester United win the trophy. And Ryan Giggs moving in here for some early fruit for them. Comes back out to Solskjaer. Goes down by Lisbie. He'd rather be playing up front, I'm sure, but he's got a job to do wide on the right.
Oh, shades of White Hart Lane, Martin, opening minute of the game, and almost the opening goal for Manchester United.
Euell. Here's Powell. Konchesky. Now Klaus Jensen. Slipping, and Scholes nips it. It's definitely the support striker to Van Nistelrooy in these early minutes, where he has been playing, of course, a lot recently. I think Charlton will be quite relieved about that, Andy, because Kishishev, they don't regard as perhaps their best right back in a 4. He's needed there. And he's got maybe less of an individual threat from Solskjaer at the moment.
And Kevin Lisbie in front of him, Martin. I'm not so sure how good Kevin is at really protecting his fullback, but I'm sure it's something that Sir Alex and his staff will be looking at. It's an area of the pitch where they feel if they can get Giggs one-on-one, they may switch it.
They've got Giggs linking up with Van Nistelrooy through the middle here. Jensen should get it away. Dane from Dutchman. And here's Parker, who's had a season to look back on with great pride, and including being in an England squad against Australia in February. Lisbie, that's what he likes to do, is impress in the attacking half of the pitch.
Skipper in the right spot again there. Notice that, Martin. Only a little sense of danger, middle of goal there. Keane just filled the gap. Wasn't a very good tackle from John O'Shea. Rather let Lisbie walk through him.
Ferdinand trying to get Manchester United onto the front foot. Usual speculation about David Beckham. Could this be his last match as a Manchester United player at Old Trafford? We've said so often, his heart is in this football club. It's his ball to Van Nistelrooy. Suspicion the ball bounced up and struck an arm, then he goes to ground. A fortune with a defender who got tight, maybe a little bit too tight.
I think you can do that. He'll be anxious to get tight to Van Nistelrooy, not allow him to turn and go at him. And even this just might be a little far for David Beckham to take on directly at goal, but he's got plenty of players he can aim for, plenty of targets and red shirts. But you never know with this boy.
Euell heads away. Brown. He's taken off Tottenham to involve Gary Neville, but reclaim the place through Neville's injury. Out comes Dean Kiely, who's a Manchester-born goalkeeper.
Good take.
Moved away to the Midlands while he was still at primary school, but came back to this part of the world to play for Bury. With determination against Roy Keane. He'll need bundles of that, of course. Powell. I do like this diagonal up to the head of Bartlett and get players supporting like Lisbie.
And he's a threat, Bartlett. What do you say about Sean Bartlett's got very, very good spring. And if he's a natural outlet for that diagonal, then why not use him? But when they do that, it's important you get support players with them. They did there. You can see Euell making the ground, Lisbie, Jensen, they're all making ground. We all know what's coming, so they're almost on the move before Powell's played the ball. I just feel it's twofold for Manchester United today. Win the game, priority number one for his side. And I don't know, Martin, I just have a sneaky feeling we might be counting goals at the end of the season. And Sir Alex might feel that as well. So it would be after winning the game or making sure they win the game, it's try and win it as well as possible.
Silvestre. Beckham getting in front of Powell. Maitland took it on the chest. Parker trying to emphasise the point here. Charlton believe they want to do more than just make up the numbers. They've got their own agenda. The difference between 13th and 8th is some £2.5 million in prize money.
It's a great game for Charlton players to play in, Martin. Absolutely no pressure at all. To come to Old Trafford, get the ball down, enjoy a day out and express themselves. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for them. Pressure is on the home side to win the game.
Luke Young did have a few games in his Tottenham days as a central defender. Here's Euell. Rally too long, maybe he feels he should have got a call. Scholes stepped in. Under the weather or not, he's begun with a typical brightness. Again, Parker breaks it up though. Konchesky, who did play for England in that game when Parker was in the squad. Powell, of course, has been capped by Sven-Göran Eriksson as well. Euell, who can be one of the more dangerous raiders in the Premier League. So it's not all cut and dried here for Manchester United. If they're going to get a win, they're going to have to earn it.
I think that's the beauty of Paul Scholes and Scott Parker there. Other side of the referee, Alan Kirbishy's on the track. He's not happy with that tackle. You watch it here, Martin. This is probably where the referee sees it from. You see he goes in, and he wins the ball, and then Paul Scholes comes in a little late. He certainly catches Scott Parker. I think, to be fair to Mark Halsey, he didn't do the best view of it. Alan Kirbishy had a better one. He wasn't impressed with the Charlton manager.
Well, Mark Halsey obviously didn't see that as clear cut as he saw what happened to Sol Campbell down at Highbury. Happily for player and referee, the damage doesn't look lasting. Parker's back on. Now the number 7, David Beckham. Gives it wide. O'Shea happy to get forward. Solskjaer loops it in. Falls just behind Beckham. Veron having to just play on the retreat, forced back by Parker's energy levels. Heads on. Just get it here now. Silvestre beats him to it. The best ball up to Van Nistelrooy, but he's made something of it with his strength and his determination. Beckham curling it awkwardly for Luke Young, and Van Nistelrooy's going strong again.
Luke Young was desperate for it to go out, Martin, but such was the check and spin that David Beckham put on the pass. It just sat up. It was never going to run out.
It's up again well. Clubs recently met here at youth level in the semi-final of the Youth Cup, and a Charlton connection with that. Youth team defender Sankofa is a first-team substitute today. That would be something, wouldn't it, to be played twice at Old Trafford in a couple of weeks. He gets on for what would be a Premiership debut. He was a substitute not used against Southampton last weekend. Charlton needed that win. They'd rather fallen away after a great run of results earlier in the year and put them safe from relegation. Just 1 point from 7 games was a real drop in standards. Alan Kirbishley was tearing his hair out. But it does happen for the sides for whom staying up equals success. Once they've got there, they sometimes get a backlash. It's not just Charlton that have shown that in recent years. Giggs. Keane couldn't quite take it with him, but he hasn't given it up yet. Konchesky comes out to Scholes.
Well, it's made for him. I think the only surprise is the form he's in, but he doesn't work the goalkeeper. I think they're better letting this run, Roy Keane. He just gets caught on his left foot, but it's there for the young lad. Oh, I keep saying young lad. It looks like he's never aged since he came into the side. Paul Scholes, doesn't he? At 28 years of age.
He's been 28 for a while, unlike David Beckham, who reached that mark only yesterday. He's nearly 30 now. And Scott Parker, like Ryan Giggs, to experience fatherhood. Marcus, happy event just in a couple of weeks' time. Giggs has been playing out of his skin since he's become a dad. But, responsibility recognised, another mouth to feed. Oh, here's Beckham, deflection, goal.
It's all going Manchester United's way.
Well, it's a classic example of a player waiting, Chris Powell, and someone more attack-minded attacking it, Martin. They make a bit of a mess of it when it comes across, but this one they could deal with it after that. That can be dealt with, but it's here. You watch Powell, he's rather hesitant. Beckham wasn't. I mean, 3 times Chris Powell's involved in this, and 3 times it doesn't go his way. He must have thought, I've done a decent job, I've got something on it, I've reacted, I've got back in, but David Beckham hits the target, and the deflection takes it past the stranded goalkeeper. Definitely the start that Manchester United wanted.
But not Chris Powell's perfect start. O'Shea heads back. More decisive left-back work. But it's David Beckham's goal nonetheless. And there haven't been many of those for him in Premiership football. It's his first in the league at Old Trafford since New Year's Day. And it needed a bit of help from an opponent to beat Dean Kiely as well.
Well, it'll be interesting now. Nothing like an early goal to relieve pressure, Martin.
Well, the goal's on here for Jensen. It's 1-1. And suddenly the world turns on its head for Carroll and for Manchester United.
Why is it football extraordinary? I was just about to say goals will relax Manchester United. It's an awkward situation because Roy Keane wins the ball here and he's so keen to get it back to his goalkeeper. Roy Carroll had a little go at his captain and saying, well, it was a bad ball, but in all honesty, it wasn't that bad a ball. It's comfortable, it's on the goalkeeper's right side, just clear it. He makes a complete mess of it, but top marks to Klaus Jensen. Assesses it quickly, empty net. Goodness me.
Jensen scored a fantastic goal against Manchester United at the Valley earlier this season. They put Charlton in front, but they lost in the end 3-1. It was a late rally by Sir Alex's team down in London that day. But, well, it's the sucker punch, isn't it? You're not just going to win a game here, you're going to win a championship, and the lead is tossed away in the most careless manner. All credit to Jensen, there never seemed any danger that he would miss.
No.
From Charlton's point of view, it went to the right man. Kept his cool, certainly had the technique. He might not be keeping his cool. And Roy Carroll, who mentioned earlier, still needs 1 appearance, 1 game to come, of course, to qualify for a medal. He might have put that appearance in jeopardy.
Less than 2 minutes between the goals, Martin. It is the cap error in football, isn't it, to be sloppy like that when you've just gotten the lead. It's such an important game for Manchester United in particular. It's been like this championship race. It's been fascinating. And Bolton showed last week that you just cannot take anything for granted in this league. I think it's this sort of thing that does make it the best in the world, and people might argue it. But you don't get an easy ride anywhere in this league.
For value, for money, entertainment, Andy, there is no argument. It is the best. That's as it stands, as he stands. Still trying to take in what has happened to the end of the ground that Manchester United are defending in this first half, in this first 15 minutes. Chris Powell will be feeling a bit better about life. Jensen. It's his own player, Bartlett, got in his way, allowed Beckham to win it back. Here's Giggs. Manchester United trying to get on the move again. Got Solskjaer coming from the left. Giggs wants it back. Can't quite get it back. Good turn of foot by Luke Young.
Plus lack of pace in the pass. I think that was the only thing lacking there. Giggs did his job great, fed him and then went in behind Young.
And now Giggs just reflecting and standing offside as the ball was played. Beckham switching to Scott Parker of Charlton in the engine room of the match. Can access that via Sky Digital Viewer via the red button on the remote. Kishishev. Lisbie. Silvestre. Young's header. Header on by Parker, then by Giggs. Charlton's throw. Manchester United led for less than 2 minutes. I think that Manchester United paid a lot of money, over £2 million for Carroll. He's still got 2 more years on his contract. He feels he's coming through a learning period at the club. Talking about wanting to be considered as a contender should Barthez go, which does seem a little bit more than a possibility now. Jensen, Parker made a run through the middle that wasn't tracked. Fortunately for Manchester United, the ball didn't get there.
A real chance. Well, they've done well. I mentioned the 2 central midfield players of Charlton, said there was a huge onus on them to stop Manchester United, make life difficult. They've done a pretty good job of that, but they've also been a threat themselves.
Well, Powell's let off because the assistant Martin Short has flagged.
He's obviously given a free kick.
Foul by Beckham.
Well, I have to say that's a rather generous decision. Just have no idea what the linesman saw there.
A slip by Kiely as he kicked. Enough distance into it and wasn't out of his own goal as he picked himself up. So it is lush. There has been overnight rain to slick the surface up. Ferdinand.
That's part of that job, Mark, I'm talking about. If they're going to feed balls into that Manchester United, then it's important that Jensen and Parker get themselves in front of the pass, break it up before it even gets to the front people.
Kishishev. Parker's there again. Help it on to Powell. Kishishev is a real steady Eddie for Alan Kirbishley. Young looking for the head of Bartlett again. Scholes. Solskjaer giving width on the left. Giggs coming deep. Sheringham-like to get the ball in that halfway position where he can turn and run at defenders. Deliver the cross. Oh, Kiely didn't deal with it straight up when he might have done. Where's he off to? Well, he's trying to get Bartlett away. All the fun of the fair from the 2 goalkeepers so far.
Well, they did enough. At least when he cleared it way into the opponent's half.
O'Shea. And Nistelrooy did very well to force himself in front of Fortune. Solskjaer. The goalkeeper's got it, and it's stopped this time.
Well, maybe a more instinctive player than Ryan Giggs would have gone in behind Van Nistelrooy. Well, the back on his heels a little there as that ball was fed in.
Scholes. Giggs on the move again, and Nistelrooy comes to the ball to feet. Checking with him, Young. They played their way around Luke Young. He's still with dogged determination, got a challenge in. Back come Manchester United with Solskjaer. It's Kishishev who deals with the danger this time, firmly. Jensen. Euell prepared to drop in to help midfield from time to time. He's rather isolated, but you can understand why Charlton might need that extra man on occasion. Powell. A very absorbing opening 20 minutes at Old Trafford, in which there's been a goal for Manchester United and a reply from Charlton Athletic. Ferdinand. Silvestre had a few minutes for France against Egypt on Wednesday. Giggs. And I think by and large Sir Alex Ferguson got his message to the international managers that he didn't want to see too many of his players playing for their countries. And, the days leading up to this vital weekend. John O'Shea missed out on a cap on his birthday. 22 last Wednesday. And Solskjaer not in that Norway team that the Republic of Ireland beat. Charlton, on the other hand, had Jensen playing. Kishishev played for Bulgaria. Jensen with Denmark, of course. Here is Solskjaer. Good block by Young.
It's been quite a good avenue for Manchester United. On the right side of Charlton's defence, with Lisbie and Kishishev there, Martin. It's been an area where they've explored quite well, Manchester United, without finding the final ball from there.
Well, on paper it will be harder on this side because they've got two England left-backs, Konchesky and Chris Powell, but it has been a nervous beginning by the more experienced of that duo. Here's Euell. Konchesky, Bartlett in the middle. Euell's continued his run. Both disappointed that the cross didn't come from Paul Konchesky. Beckham. A warning by the crowd that Konchesky was to get back at him. Konchesky now apologising to the two strikers that he didn't deliver.
Well, there's a confidence there about Charlton at the moment. You can see it. They're pushing players forward. They're happy to commit 4 or 5 players into an attack, and in many ways that might help Manchester United.
Well, yet again, Alan Kirvish is pushing back the frontiers with Charlton Athletic. In the top 10, desperately wants to finish there. How much more he can do for the club remains to be seen. He must be still on many of other clubs' managerial wanted list when vacancies become available. Charlton Athletic appreciate him. Beckham has stayed down there. Mark Halsey, I think, played an advantage. Scholes. He was stayed upfield this time and was the target. Couldn't link up with Jensen.
The break on there, wasn't it?
Beckham. Solskjaer got infield of Kishishev. Trying to guide it down. Giggs. O'Shea. Giggs again. Went a long way and Fortune didn't clear his area. Back by Giggs. Here's Scholes. Not an easy one to strike. Not an easy one for Kiely to take. Fortune has headed it into his own net, but the whistle had gone. To spare John Fortune the sort of embarrassment that Roy Carroll had a few minutes ago.
Well, the whistle's always going to go, isn't it? David Beckham shakes his head as if to say the eyes on the ball. I went, I jumped for it. Does the goalkeeper get very far off the ground? Not really, Martin.
Good finish.
Hasn't the game changed a lot? Anyone who goes anywhere near the goalkeeper now, invariably, whistle goes.
But being off the ground is the protection, isn't it, really? And couldn't really see it on that angle whether he was, but anyway, it's gone for Charlton, the decision. Here's Giggs. We should point out again the men missing: Richard Rufus, Mark Fish, Gary Rowett, who certainly has been a first-choice defender when fit, which hasn't been very often this season. And those 3 alone, Alan Kirvish could have put out a back 3 against Manchester United today, which he would have felt more comfortable with maybe than the 4 that he's left with. No disrespect to these players, but more the backup. In this case, playing out of position. Beckham's limping a little bit. Lisbie, whose role has been switched today from where he would be more likely used. But this was the team that beat Southampton last weekend. Parker. Euell.
Well, Arsenal got hammered last week for a pretty inept performance against Manchester United at home. Certainly couldn't be levelled at Charlton, could it, in the opening 25 minutes of this match.
Tottenham got hammered.
Tottenham. Charlton have been bang at it today.
Parker. Now Scholes. Considered clearance by Carroll this time. Ferdinand. Charlton drop off. Ferdinand certainly goes off. Solskjaer straying from the left-hand side, really for the first time.
Just be interesting to see if they've changed, Martin. As Alex has said to Giggs, I want to go and play lefties for a bit.
It's Giggs who whipped it across. Beckham coming in. Powell did very well this time. Here's a corner, and sorry, Andy, we did point out last week Manchester United haven't scored a Premiership goal all season from a corner. Beckham takes. Scored from this one. Over 250 attempts. Most corners in the Premiership. Furious return. Silvestre. He didn't know that, Charlie Ferdinand, did he? When we pointed it out to him to Tottenham after the game, he just said, we're very poor at corners. They were poor at clearing their lines here, but Jensen was brilliant at taking his chance.
See that? It's not the worst back pass I've seen. It's a fantastic finish from Jensen. But there'll be no reaction too much. The fans aren't very pleased, but there ain't much he hasn't seen in the game.
That was astonishing, wasn't it? To see the change of the faces from all those around him.
Well, you see, I think, Arsene Wenger's reaction to losing a couple of goals last week. The one thing you know, there's an awful lot of time left in the game when that ball went in.
Euell. Jensen. Charlton have got 5 coming forward here. Ferdinand intercepts at Bartlett's there. And Jensen trying to regain possession, stopped by Keane. Solskjaer's back on the left. Giggs still very much through the middle. They combine. Bit of luck involved as well. Young gets it away though. Picked up by O'Shea. And the two a bit slow coming back for Charlton, Jensen in particular. Solskjaer. Giggs. Now Roy Keane. Space to move into. Charlton need a challenge. Keane, and they get one from Parker. And they get another from Parker. Beckham heads on. Fortune's winding himself up for the clearance, and he gets it away just in the nick of time from Van Nistelrooy. And Parker's in again, despite the fact that he picked himself up the first time. I think he was a bit jarred from his earlier endeavours. Scholes. Keane. Beckham. Bit of a stumble there by Beckham. Konchesky just puts it out.
Well, it hasn't happened often in the opening half hour that Charlton are pretty much camped at the minute. We've got everyone back behind the ball.
Super movement by Scholes. Made up Beckham's mind for it. Charlton thought that was their throw. O'Shea. Lisbie defending well. Kishishev taking a bit of a risk. And Lisbie should get a bit of length into it. Not much though. Keane. And has a pot himself. And Manchester United have a corner with a third of the game gone.
Direct route, but Charlton didn't clear it as it dropped, and Van Nistelrooy hooked it home.
Well, two things: keeping the ball in there, and Van Nistelrooy's sharpness. Just watch him react, Martin. Back to goal, coming out from in front of the goalkeeper. It's a great position, but he still gets so much to do. But he turns, and look at the punches he gets in the shot. This is past Kiely before he can react. Look at that. It's near the goalkeeper, but such is the power of the shot. He can't get anywhere near it. Normal service resumed for that man.
Well, his run goes on. He's now scored in 9 consecutive Manchester United games, 11 matches in a row, including internationals. He didn't play for Holland in midweek. It's 7 games in a row in the Premiership that he's scored in. He's only one shy of his own record, which he set up last season. Manchester United, most importantly, in Ruud van Nistelrooy, recognise that lead again.
So do we give them that first goal from that corner? I don't think we can.
No, I don't think technically it will be given as such. It was the second ball, if you like, wasn't it? It matters not a jot to Manchester United, who have 100 different ways of scoring. Many of them involving this fella.
Well, it came in the spell when Manchester United for about 5 minutes, Martin, had Charlton pinned.
That could have been a direct header. First from Scholes, it was just too high from him, and then John O'Shea coming in behind. It would be an enormous lead to secure, but it wouldn't win the title. 8 points ahead.
I think that right-hand side column might just be a key one by a week tomorrow, Mr. Tyler.
Lisbie. Here's Jensen. Lisbie on the chase. Ferdinand in front of him. And then Carroll winding himself up, and it's a good ball up to Solskjaer. Feel another goal before half-time for Manchester United, and their work today could really be done. And this could be it, because it's Solskjaer. Oh. Comes out to O'Shea. Charlton on the rack. Van Nistelrooy. Scholes set up for Keane. Corner. It is a corner. Kiely just had to stand and look whether it was going outside the post or inside. Republic of Ireland colleagues, although Kiely's now retired, of course, from the international scene.
Hits it well enough. It's probably going straight down the goalkeeper's throat, but it certainly would have worked him.
Brought out by Jensen. Roy Keane, of course, has given up on his country as well, hasn't he? He's not given up on his club. Look at this, he's read the dangers. Happiness regained for the Manchester United fans. League is within touching distance, they feel. The lead is back in home hands here.
Yeah, there's no doubt the equaliser rattled Manchester United, Martin. I thought they'd have gone on at 1-0 and done what they're doing now. Control the ball, control the game. squeezed Charlton back, asked question after question. But the goal put paid to that, the equaliser, but...
They're doing it on Nistelrooy this time. Lisbie.
Yeah, watch this for a move, Martin. Two things. You watch the touch there of Scholes, absolute sublime, and then the vision in the pass. And this is a ridiculous shot to take on, absolutely ridiculous. But when you look at it, he probably doesn't have an option. So close to a wonderful finish from Solskjaer.
He's hurt Charlton before, other good as Solskjaer. He's got 4 goals in 5 previous appearances against Alan Kirbish's team. Premiership Plus, channel 433, you can see Southampton against Bolton. Of course, Bolton still not out of the wood. That's 5 o'clock today. Pay-per-view offering from the Premier League. Solskjaer's great header on Van Nistelrooy. He's got another one. He has got another one. It's 3-1 here. Manchester United will feel that that is the day done after some early difficulties in this first half.
Lovely goal, great ball, lovely flick, and then yet again the reactions of this man, Martin, are extraordinary. Watch this. Who reacts first and quickest? Look at that. I mean, he's so quick. Look at Fortune, he doesn't know what he's doing. He tries to turn the big defender, he goes to ground, he hasn't got the balance that Van Nistelrooy has. He hasn't got the awareness. Look how quickly, as a striker, he turns and reacts in such composure when he gets there. He knows, he has a picture of everything, even though it's happening quickly, to do that.
Well, his 100th game already well and truly marked. He's taken his tally of Manchester United goals to 78. He is Ruud van Nistelrooy. Giggs, given their defensive shortcomings today.
Well, they've just changed it.
It'll be a long last 55 minutes or so for Charlton.
They've just changed it, like we talked about it. Now there's 2 options that this formation gives, or this group of players gives Sir Alex, and that's Giggs left or inside, Solskjaer the same. Started with Solskjaer, but it's noticeable in the last 5-6 minutes of this match, just prior to the goal, he shifted Solskjaer inside. That's where the flick came from. And Giggs has got the pace and the running ability to really trouble Kishishev. We saw that there moments ago.
And it all fell into place for Ruud van Nistelrooy. Kiely came, Fortune slipped, Powell couldn't get there. Van Nistelrooy, perfectly balanced, as you said, had a total picture of what was required, delivered it impeccably, and hasn't that been the story of his season?
For half hour this was a game.
Attention please, John Biggs from Blakely. John Biggs from Blakely, please report to the nearest John Blakely.
His great hero, of course, Marco van Basten. He certainly got it in him to achieve what all Van Basten did in the game. Here come Manchester United again.
Oh, if we'd only seen John O'Shea, he made a fantastic run, the full-back. And Ryan Giggs had dragged everyone in field, but look at the appetite from Giggs there, Martin. He lost the ball, but his reaction to retrieve it is fantastic.
Konchesky. Parker. Euell. Has given it away to Kishishev. Mark and Jensen desperately trying to give the back four some protection, but They're swarming all over Charlton, Manchester United now. With the second goal, the stimulus. Euell, Bartlett get up here, he does.
Ferdinand had no chance of making an impact there. Really, Wes Brown's got to be round when Bartlett pulls on the shoulder like that. He's got to see the situation develop. He's got to get himself into a position he can defend it better. You can see Rio Ferdinand backing away and backing away. He was never getting the challenge in.
Giggs. Our guest, one of our guests tomorrow, the great George Best. Arsenal leads. Sky Sports 1, slightly later time because of big events in the Nationwide First Division, which comes to a finale tomorrow. 3:30, Sky Sports 1. I'm sure you'll be watching your football on Sky long before that, and I hope you'll be with us for the entire day. It could be a very, very significant one. Dennis Law, we understand, isn't here today, but his record is it in some jeopardy now. 46 goals. I don't know how long Sir Alec will allow Ruud van Nistelrooy to stay on in this game, particularly if Manchester United score again before half-time, so looking to do here. Parker. Throw forward by Kishishev, trying to drop it over Keane, who's again seen where the point of danger. No wonder John O'Shea can push on, can't he? Because he knows that Roy Keane will read the play behind him and he's never going to be embarrassed. Fought out of his position at left back. And it was, of course, Keane filling in at right back that unwittingly led to the equaliser. Carroll kicks straight to Jensen. Konchesky. Ferdinand wriggles clear. There's a bit of a party mood around the Manchester United faithful at the moment, but what happens even if Manchester United win this at a canter, if Arsenal win tomorrow, if Arsenal win on Wednesday, and Everton need to win next Sunday at home to Manchester United? It's not done and dusted, is it? This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Fortune slid it away, helped out his centre-back partner Luke Young.
Well, I think if United can get at the two young lads at the back, Martin, their own experience in this level and as a partnership, really, he might just be able to expose it a bit. I thought he might hit that first time on his right side, Solskjaer. It sat there lovely to hit.
O'Shea. Parker, did he have his arms raised? He's put a hand to his face. There's a little bit of kidology. He's got away with it if it was handball.
I think the arms are up.
Oh, there's a ball on here for Parker for the fleet of foot Lisbie, but well read by Wes Brown.
The ball was always played defender side though, Martin. Nothing around the other side.
Lisbie,
gives Lisbie a chance then.
Yes, the sort of ball that gave Ronaldo a chance early here for Real Madrid was maybe more of what was required. Lisbie still furthest forward. Scholes, no sign of his illness. O'Shea, surely due to get a goal sooner rather than later for Manchester United. Scholes. Now Lisbie. He's still the furthest forward, but Kishishev trying to help. Jensen's gone on a run from midfield. Ferdinand across. Added time before half-time at Old Trafford. One added minute. Giggs. got 4 in the first half against Newcastle recently. Brown. O'Shea's there again. Let's have another look at that piece of defending by Scott Parker. Oh, it's handy for Charlton.
Well, he comes in and he doesn't quite get the header in there, but again he reacts very quickly. And, well, it'd have been a supremely harsh penalty. I think it strikes him in the right arm. But all he's doing here, Parker, is he's coming to press the ball. The arm goes up in front of the face more, I think, in protection than anything.
Yes. A little bit of byplay with the Manchester United fans when he rubbed his face afterwards.
I think if I'd have caught him in the chin, it might have just floored him.
David Beckham with a deflection gave Manchester United an early lead, and then Manchester United had a bit of a defensive catastrophe, particularly for goalkeeper Roy Carroll, who kicked out straight to Klaus Jensen, who returned with interest 1-1, and it was a nervy sort of 20 minutes or so until Ruud van Nistelrooy restored the smiles with 2 trademark goals. 3-1 to Manchester United at half-time.
So who goes tomorrow? Conclusion, of course, to the Football League season. Will it be Stoke or will it be Brighton that get relegated from the first? It all unfolds live tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock. Well, it'll be a long 15 minutes for Alan Kirbishley and Charlton. They trail here by 3-1. Brian Robson and Niall Quinn are with us. Reaction from them shortly, but not for the first time. Ruud van Nistelrooy is amongst the goals and Manchester United lead. Facts are Manchester United lead by 3-1. As of now, they are 8 points clear of Arsenal, who play tomorrow at Highbury against Leeds United. 3:30 start for us on Sky Sports 1. Look at the possession. Well, if it wasn't uphill, it certainly is now, isn't it, for Charlton?
Yeah, you'd think this game is over and done with. But there'll still be excitement because the crowd are up for more goals. Manchester United, credit where it's due, they've been breathtaking in that half, all through the field. I mean, OK, Van Nistelrooy scored the goals. Beckham, who we questioned beforehand, has laid on one and scored the other. Great stuff, but Roy Keane has been tremendous in there as well. It's hard to pick out somebody at United who you can fault. It's just been a magic show so far.
Is that enough for Manchester United, or will they want more?
No, Alex Ferguson will be saying to them they want more goals, just in case, you know, they do slip up with Everton and it's a draw there or they get beat. He'll want them to go on now and maybe double the score if they possibly can. So he'll want them to keep the pressure on Charlton.
Perfect start, a goal up inside, well, just around about the 10-minute mark. Scored by David Beckham. We heard what Andy said. You'd have thought it would settle Manchester United down, but there was a nasty surprise to come, wasn't there? That's what they're looking for. The great thing.
Yeah, the anticipation from Bex was very good. Gets inside of Powell, and he got a little bit of fortune on the deflection, which loops it over the top of the keeper into the far corner. But it's the anticipation of Dave there, comes inside, and on his left foot.
And the challenge of Van Nistelrooy here, he's been a pest again, hasn't he?
He's been fantastic. Sorry, man.
No, he's been awesome. I have to say, I've watched him off the ball sometimes, and you think no wonder defenders can't live with him, because he doesn't stop still to give them a chance. They've got to try and look at the ball, wonder where it's going, and worry about him going all over the place. He's been fantastic. But this particular incident, Roy's posed a little bit of a question to the goalkeeper here, Carroll, and he's gone for a big haymaker. But Johansson kept his head, and the crowd almost fell silent, and we couldn't believe. I'd say you'd have to say 90% the goalkeeper. I mean, Roy's just asked a question. I mean, you'd expect him to deal with it. I just think sometimes goalkeepers side foot these to safety rather than take the chance of a big haymaker up the field, because it can always just slip off the ankle and bobble out as it done there.
Yeah, if Roy Carroll was just smooth through the ball rather than lash at it, he'll clear that no problem. Jensen's done exactly what Roy Carroll should have done. He's just guided the ball, and look at the distance that's gone, and it's a great finish by him because he's just kept nice and cool. Roy should have kept a little bit cooler on that and cleared his lines. I don't think you can blame Keane at all. You expect better from top goalkeepers.
Well, it took them a while once again, but almost inevitably, the second came. Yeah. Inevitably from Ruud van Nistelrooy.
And from a corner kick, and we question they couldn't score from corners, but wonderful reflexes by him. If you watch the ball come across here now, it drops down into an area where he's got to run back towards his own goal, and with his back towards the target, he can swivel in amongst a crowd of players and score like that. It's the mark of an absolute first-class player. I mean, it's a pleasure to watch his performance today, and that's just one little small bit of what he's done so far.
When Manchester United have needed big players, Brian, they appear, most if not all, to have played at the right time of the season for us.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that's why I think the stud. But here, the flick on from Ollie, and Rude is just so quick. It's like Niall was just saying about the last goal. His anticipation compared to the defenders is just so much quicker. You know, he knows where the defender is. He rolls him, round he goes, and he even gets there before the comeback. And he's still cool enough to know where the goalkeeper is and lob it over his head. You know, when he's sprinting there now, that is the hardest thing to do, control the touch on the ball. He's done it absolutely perfect, and that is a real difficult skill, which he's made look easy.
They lead 8 points clear. Will Arsenal respond for us tomorrow? Will it go to the final day? There's Southampton in between for them, of course. Manchester United's priority, according to Brian, more goals in the second half. Later in the month, we're live at the Millennium Stadium for the FA Cup final with Arsenal and Southampton. Matt Le Tissier amongst our guests. It's a must-see with Sky Sports. Charlton trail here by 3 goals to 1. Manchester United in the box seat. Will want more, Brian. Will that be the message? That will have been the message from Sir Alex Ferguson?
I think there's no doubt about it. You know, he'll be saying, just in case he has any slip up at Goodison Park, we need to get as many goals as we can in this game.
Would you have been appealing for a penalty when that ball struck Scott Parker?
I would have been if I was manager, but I think it would have been a very harsh decision. You can see he's anticipated quite well where he's come off the line. His arms are up, but I just feel that it would have been a harsh decision for the referee to give that. You see, he's anticipated well, come from where he was, otherwise it would have been a goal. But it has hit his arm, but no, harsh decision to give a pen.
So obviously if it was 0-0, Brian would have said something totally the opposite.
You tried to say I'm biased.
3-1 up, you've been very nice, I think.
Sean Bartlett, player cam for the first 15 minutes of this second half. Push the red button on the remote control, follow the instructions. You'll also find Fan Zone there. Our commentators, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. There's a subplot here involving the Golden Boot Award. Ruud van Nistelrooy with his 2 goals in the first half, 23 in the Premiership this season. He's now level with James Beattie of Southampton. And incidentally, Barclaycard, the sponsors of the league, will add £1,000, multiply by £1,000 the number of goals for the leading scorer, and put that to the scorer's charity of choice. It's a fine gesture. It is. Scholes. Here's Keane. So it's really a case, Andy, of Manchester United just keeping their concentration here.
I would think so. I said right at the beginning it was twofold for me, the game today for Manchester United. One was to secure the win. I think when you look at the record, only Newcastle have scored 3 goals against Manchester United here, and that in a 5-3 defeat. So you would think that Sir Alex would feel that the win has been secured. Now it's a matter of, I think, trying to extend that lead, trying to get more goals, trying to improve the goal difference, just in case.
As the mathematics are, of course, if Manchester United win this and win at Everton next Sunday, the goals don't come into it, but we've been around long enough to know that it isn't always as simple as that.
Well, I wondered how they start Sir Alex's side at the second half with Solskjaer start left or Giggs. He's sticking with Giggs left side. I think he does feel that Kishishev might be susceptible to Giggs' pace, Martin.
I think Charlton feel that as well. Brown, Beckham. Here's the Charlton goal scorer, Klaus Jensen. He was offside. There was some European punishment on Thursday for Sir Alex to take on the chin, but maybe domestic pleasure is close at hand. Van Nistelrooy. Solskjaer letting it run, and Parker even in a losing cause, can enhance his reputation here. Bartlett. Keane. Beckham. Brown. And Nistelrooy just waiting. Young wasn't. Charlton's last game, incidentally, is at home to Fulham. They were bottom of the Premiership in October, largely as a result of losing their first 4 home games, one of which was against Manchester United. That's what I mean about losing concentration, Andy. That's
sloppy, isn't it?
Ferdinand might be thinking he was floating a ball in behind the back line, but there was no one on his wavelength.
I just think the man who's nodding the ball back to Wes Brown there, Roy Keane, I just don't think he's a kind of player and the kind of captain that would allow any of the players on the pitch and his side to get sloppy.
Scholes, Keane, on to Giggs. Again, that's just a bit fancy, really. Lisbie. Maybe the best thing that could happen to Manchester United was for Charlton to score again. It's probably stretching a point, but you know what I mean. Get them at it. Silvestre. His header only drops for Euell. Remember, he's an Arsenal fan. Keane there again. Scholes lets it run. The crowd aren't happy. Parker. Taking Manchester United on, trying to work with Bartlett, but it was very tight, but Bartlett didn't give it up. Euell towards Bartlett. It was still really repositioning rather than being set to fight for a header. Jensen. Lisbie. Kishishev makes a run. It's back to Jensen. He's got 3 to try and pick out in the centre. Carroll picks out the ball. And then picks out Beckham. He gives it away to Powell. Euell. And this is Konchesky. Didn't think about cutting in himself. He could have perhaps forced himself across the line of David Beckham's run then.
Well, he might have done something better than that. Really did nothing in the end, having made a good run. But he'll be keeping his eye on this Manchester United manager. I don't think it's quite the start of the second half he expected. 5 minutes of pretty indifferent stuff at the moment.
They can, of course, throw that magical switch. They've been doing so often. Their goals have been so easy for Manchester United to come by. Well, they've made it look so easy. And here's Solskjaer.
He was never looking across goal. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer here. They do get narrow, but he's onside. You can see that Kevin Lisbie, the widest of all. But what a good possession Paul Scholes has got back post for anything. Just flashed across the face. You can see he's looking for a goal. Scholes. I've got that impression early on this half. He's been really advanced in Manchester United attacks.
O'Shea. And Nistelrooy. I'm surprised if he becomes complacent. His ball probing enough to make Powell concede the corner. The presence of Solskjaer certainly helped Manchester United. It's the Beckham outswinger again. Here's Keane. Beckham has a touch, has a look, and then returns once he came.
Might have been a first-time cross required there from David Beckham. Time he took the touch, Powell was pretty close to him.
O'Shea going towards the near post, making the first run. Scholes got rather crowded out where the ball dropped. Jensen. Bartlett didn't react to that quite as quickly as Silvestre.
100 games for Manchester United, marked in the grand manner.
I have to say I'm on that once. Fantastic crossfield pass from David Beckham. He looks up, he sees his front man, and look at this. Touch and hit, exactly what's required. Unerring accuracy in the finish. It's a stunning hat-trick. Absolutely top class. Just gets better and better.
24 Premiership goals. He is out in front. 43 goals for Manchester United this season, just 3 shy of the club record, which looked as though it was set for all time when, well, Dennis Law, you go back to 1964 when he achieved that mighty number.
And you have to say, Martin, that having watched what we did at White Hart Lane last week, we could have been past it by now. The chances he had in that game.
He's been ruthless today.
Yeah. I mean, that's normal service today. I mean, at White Hart Lane, it was rather wasteful for him. 4 or 5 excellent chances before he scored, maybe more. But today it's been 3 out of 3.
And it's 4-1 to Manchester United. Better and better for Van Nistelrooy. More important still, better and better for the goal difference. And Charlton just got to stick it out now. They were beaten 6-1, of course, recently at home by one of the struggling clubs, Leeds United.
Yeah, that's the thing you look at now. If you're looking at Charlton, that's what Alan Kirby should be looking at. Do his side just roll over and get picked apart, or do they dig in and make life difficult as they possibly can?
Be a great life being a manager, particularly at this level, but not in Alan Kirbyshley's seat at the moment. And here's Scholes, his team, Alan's team that is, can't get the ball away, and rather stabs him across, as you pointed out at Tottenham. He's not in Gary Neville's class really in that side of his game, but he's got plenty of other excellent attributes. The England defender. Van Nistelrooy.
Well, he can do what he likes and the crowd just love it. But I'm sure there's once or twice his teammates go, "You're brilliant, Wood, but every now and again, mate, but how can you fault him? How can you fault him?" Just watch this. The first touch is so good, that's what allows him just to concentrate on the shot. People will argue, near post, Dean Kiely might have done better. Sometimes it struck so fiercely, it's past you.
Still trying to keep the tempo up. Look at that. Now that's what Van Basten used to do. He never rested on his laurels. And remember, Ruud van Nistelrooy has come back to this level from a year out with injury. This is the second full season since that. An injury that would have finished a lesser character. The strong men get through it, like Shearer. Van Nistelrooy is in that category. Good pressure here by Lisbie, and Charlton have a corner. Their first corner of the afternoon. They're 4-1 down at Old Trafford. Jensen takes it. Number 24s were tussling for that. And Wes Brown just edged it away from Jonathan Fortune. Shane Young on the near post. Ball actually bent out before Carroll had to make the catch. Goal kick. But looking beyond the next week or so, the goalkeeping situation, something for Manchester United to address, Andy.
Well, I think if you look at the side and the squad of players that Sir Alex has here, Martin, you'd think you'd have to concede that midfield area looks pretty solid and pretty strong. The one area where there's been a doubt has been that area you talked about with Fabian Barthez and Roy Carroll. There has been questions in the last couple of weeks, particularly since the exit from Europe, about the French goalkeeper. I think that is an area that the Manchester United manager will look to strengthen, and also support for Ruud van Nistelrooy. I think that those would be the two areas, if you look at this Manchester United side, that Sir Alex would look at first to try and strengthen.
Well, they talk about his standards slipping, but you wouldn't level that at Roy Keane in recent weeks. He might be feeling the pain of wear and tear down the years, all he's put in, and I know Brian Robson, our studio guest, went through it, and it has to finish someday, even for the truly outstanding captain.
I mean, I was absolutely astounded at the criticism that was levelled at Roy Keane. I think I've said to you before, for the simple reason that you cannot come into the side in the middle of a season. Roy's only playing his 18th Premiership game. Only 18 starts he's had. So he's probably in the last couple of games, 2 or 3 games, feels as fit as he's ever felt. And that takes time, and it takes a little longer when you're 31 years of age. But to suggest that Roy Keane was a spent force was absolutely ridiculous.
Beckham. It's kind of a nice game to play in if you're feeling the pace of it as well. If you're in a Manchester United shirt, they are very much the bosses here today.
And the ball never gets tired, does it? That's what they say in football.
And Nistelrooy, Marcus didn't quite read that. Hasn't given up on it. O'Shea. Parker. Jensen still trying to play classy football through midfield. An area in which his team are not bossing. Parker. They're going to win the league is the cry at Old Trafford. If they do, it will be for the 8th time in 11 seasons since the start of the Premiership. Liverpool had a similar period of domination through the mid-70s to the late 80s. There will be an 8th winners' medal for Ryan Giggs if that happens, equaling Phil Neal and Alan Hansen from that Liverpool era. It's astonishing. Andy just is shaking his head in admiration here. One to be proud of, Mr. Graham.
I was chuffed with one, I have to say.
You should be chuffed with one. Let's see, multiply that by 8. But I think all the lads who've got plenty say the first one is the best one. Maybe the 8th is better still. We'll ask Ryan if and when he gets it. Here's Van Nistelrooy.
Again, looking for the shot. Not a thought in his mind and looking for Giggs or Solskjaer. And there's really good support here. You watch Ryan Giggs, he just holds his position, edge of the box. He's there if he wants the ball rolled to him. Solskjaer coming in, back post. Not a thought in his mind.
He doesn't seem to mind too much, though, the good Solskjaer. He's a great club man, and he's now under the scrutiny of the player cam for Sky Digital viewers. Red button on the remote. Powell, who's playing ahead of Konchesky at the moment. He's been Bartlett going for the cross. Scholes. Looks as though they might have gone to 3 at the back. Konchesky in there, Andy, I'm not sure, but certainly Powell was well forward then, and Konchesky has stayed behind him. I think the horse might have bolted though, and it's a damage limitation exercise for Charlton Athletic. Further damage maybe to come though. John O'Shea.
Oh, that's good play from Parker. He certainly hasn't given it up, Scott Parker. That's a certainty. Well, I think for Alan, obviously at this scoreline, it's worth having a look at something else. Certainly a manager who's quite happy to shift it from 4 to 3 at the back.
Giggs didn't do much more than distract, but it was a major distraction quite reacting in the red behind him. Anyone darting in there would have just had an empty net to knock it into.
Yeah, don't come much better than that for delivery, I have to say. And that goes across 5 yards from goal. No more than chest height. You expect somebody to be getting on the end of it.
Let's go back to the goalkeepers. Roy Carroll, one of 9 used by Manchester United since Peter Schmeichel retired. That's 4 seasons. 9 different goalkeepers. Carroll and Ricardo, the Spanish international, have backed up Barthez for most of this season.
I don't think what's helped Fabian Barthez an awful lot, Mark, is the fact that the amount of times he's had to be substituted during games. I think a lot of people have made mention of that.
9 times in the last 2 seasons.
It's an awful lot for a goalkeeper.
Probably that fitness query has worked against him as much as anything. Jensen. Still more than a quarter of the game to go. Charlton labouring 4-1 down. Silvestre. We've seen 1 or 2 Euells to come. Scholes beautifully found by Beckham. Solskjaer to his right. Pass came early. Solskjaer sets the sights. Well claimed by Kiely.
Lovely break. Good strike, good goalkeeping. All round good football. They don't get close enough. Look at the space they've got to work the ball now, Manchester United, Martin. Acres and acres there. And they pick the right ball. Will he go across the goalkeeper like he should? He does. But Dean Kiely makes a really good save.
How about that from John O'Shea to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Not quite for Van Nistelrooy. It's got the applause ringing around Old Trafford again. They'd love to just have a spell where they could keep the ball, Charlton, for a minute or 2. Manchester United not letting up, just as they have not let up in their desire to regain the championship. Kishishev. Lisbie. A little bit of contact there by John O'Shea. A suspicion of a handball as well. 20 minutes gone in the second half. And Nistelrooy has scored again. Charlton looking.
It checks up the ball, and you can see it brushes the shoulder. I certainly don't think that would have been as harsh as the one first half if it had been given against Parker.
Really appeal as mightily, yeah, as maybe they would have done at the Valley. Brown. He did well under some pressure then. Jensen. Made the decoy run. Euell, oh, he could have turned. There's a little bit of space for Euell. His head up, and he goes to Scholes. Powell. 14 had stayed up. It was Bartlett, in fact, the one you'd expect going for the header, who played the balls.
And that's a proverbial goal's head. Out of danger there.
O'Shea. Rio Ferdinand, like Ruud van Nistelrooy, looking for a first trophy with Manchester United. Solskjaer. Scholes had checked out. Nobody had picked him up on the edge of the area. One of his favoured positions from which he can be so devastating. the players have gone into the dressing room just to have a word with the manager. They are all coming out to say their farewells for this season. I understand Sir Alex going to get on the mic himself. Giggs nearly for Keane. Hasn't scored this season. Giggs chasing back.
That's what you can't buy. That's what people forget about what makes top-class footballers different, Martin. It's not only they have ability, but it's the willingness to work and work and work.
And the standards have been set by this generation. We mentioned it last week. You add Roy Keane to that, who's been here a long time as well. Veron and company, the newcomers, they have to live up to that work ethic. And Paul Scholes, if you didn't hear the earlier news, he'd been sick yesterday. He was still feeling rotten overnight. They thought they were going to leave him out, but he's put together a splendid shift for 3/4 of the game. And now yet again he hides from the cameras. That's the other thing that's typical of him. But Veron is on, and that I think will help Charlton in any way. Giggs. Konchesky to Powell. And this change by Lancashire. It's got Lisbie into a striking role. Euell trying to support two now from midfield. Having a go still, Charlton. Why not? Euell. Keane. Giggs and Nistelrooy. Here's Veron. First contribution from him. Good defending in numbers. Lisbie. Keane breathing fire around Jensen. To be fair to Klaus Jensen, he stood his corner. Halsey has kept up with the play and made sure that the ball was played. Powell. You're making a dart through the centre. Powell needs someone to come short to help him. And because that didn't happen, he's got a free kick out of it. Against West Brown.
I think Sir Alex will want his team to finish big, Mark. I don't think they'll want to just see this game drift to. It's a fine result, but at 4-1 with what there was a half hour to go in this match, I think he will have hoped that his side could go on and get at least one more.
Just in by Jensen. Kishishev. He's scored a couple of goals this season. His first two for the club. Cross, but a good claim at the highest point by Roy Carroll. Out to Beckham. Solskjaer on the sprint. Just needs to be played in here. But he doesn't go for goal. Parker gets a challenge in. Back with Beckham. Charlton have got their numbers back. Parker's there again. Chance. Veron. Keane. Have a crack. Have a crack.
Oh, what a save.
I think he's happy it's right at him. There's some venom in this. Everyone stands back. Go on, run forward. Nobody goes to close him down.
There was real power in the shot. Straight down the goalkeeper's throat.
Kishishev is coming off. I'll say Sankofa makes his Premiership debut, but not his Old Trafford debut. He was here in the semi-final of the Youth Cup. Charlton gave Manchester United a very good game over the two legs of the competition. United went on to knock them out and win the trophy, which was paraded earlier today. 18 years old, of Jamaican origins.
that's good management. The team are losing 4-1. They're not going to get back into it. They've obviously got high hopes for the lad, and they've just gone, Alan's just gone, okay then, on you go, have a little sample of Old Trafford, what it's really like when it's full against the top players, some of them in the world, certainly in the country.
Yeah, and your first job is to mark David Beckham who's over here.
That's only because he's taking the corner.
Yeah.
It'll be gigs in a minute.
But it doesn't just give Sankofa a lift, it gives the whole youth academy a focal point to say, well, if you do well, Charlton will give you a chance, you can play in our first team. This isn't the case at all the clubs. It's very hard for that Youth Cup winning team for Manchester United to break into this group. Silvestre, Keane, and Nistelrooy. Round backed up by Beckham. A deliberately crafted pass to Keane, and they went 2 against 1 against Sankofa. He's repositioned. Parker's in there to help him. Keane still finds O'Shea.
Pleasing on the eye.
Veron. Sankofa got a touch to force it forward.
Well, I know Van Nistelrooy's going to get all the headlines, Mark, but I think Roy Keane's been an absolute giant today. An absolute giant.
Euell. Jensen. On to Sankofa. Young. Konchesky. Jensen. There's a little bit of kick ball here by Charlton, which they'll be pleased about.
It's possession without penetration at the moment.
Parker still making his challenges. Euell.
I don't think this result changes anything as far as the title race is concerned. I can't believe that Arsene Wenger and his team wouldn't have thought Manchester United would win this today. So I think pre-match and after-match, it's still, we still know what's required, Arsenal, and that's 3 victories out of 3.
O'Shea. Biggs. Nistelrooy trying to climb, but Konchesky was around him to make it difficult for him. And Manchester United are going to shuffle their pack. Ricky Bat, Diego Forlan. Solskjaer comes off for 1. Ryan Giggs is the other.
I think what Manchester United will do is just narrow it a bit in midfield because of Charlton. And just push Veron. It looks like Veron's instructions were to just push ahead of both Keane and Butt and be a goal threat, along with Forlan and Beckham, I think, in support of Van Nistelrooy.
Well, Jason Euell hasn't been able to help Charlton's cause too much, been difficult for his team here, and that has not been able to help the team that he supported as a boy, Arsenal. Chris Bart-Williams is Ewell's replacement. But looking ahead now to Arsenal tomorrow, and they've got their games, as you said, difference. Here we have got Butt on and Veron on, and Arsenal are struggling to get an 11 out with Vieira, Campbell, Ljungberg, Lauren, all members of their first choice 11.
I think that's
not
fair.
available tomorrow.
But Manchester United would probably point out to the earlier part of the season when many of their players were out, that the young lads that came in did a job, got results when it mattered, just kept them in touch basically. And Arsenal have to rely on that. But the one thing I think Arsene Wenger and his players need to do is make Manchester United win it on the pitch. By that I mean win both their games that they have in hand coming up tomorrow and on Wednesday, and say to Alex Ferguson's side next weekend, go on then, you've got to go and beat Everton if you want to win the title. And I think that's important from Arsenal's point of view, that they take it that far.
Later today, Southampton against Bolton. That's a pay-per-view offering from the Premier League Premiership Plus Channel 433 at 5. Well, Sir Alex says he's not going to watch. He's got a grandson's birthday party, is it, to go to? But I'm sure many millions of you will be watching Arsenal against Leeds, Sky Sports 1, 3:30. Arsenal have to win, just to remind you of the mathematics of it. If Arsenal fail to win tomorrow, and assuming that there's not going to be a miraculous comeback from Charlton here, and that will mean paradise regained as far as the Premiership is concerned for Manchester United FC. Bartlett, backed up by Lisbie. Brown with him. Thought about Wes Brown maybe not being the best crosser of the ball, but he's got speed over the deck, and Lisbie is quick.
I think he's got all that.
Get away.
Well, and certainly it's something that if Wes is going to play full-back, Martin, that he will work on. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Manchester United will work on his service from wide areas.
Well, even Ryan Giggs has had to work on that.
Yeah, absolutely. His job done. I mean, for the last month, you and I have arrived at games where Manchester United of Arsenal have taken part in, and it's been winning football they've been asked to play. Not so much with a swagger or the style, but to win the match. And to be honest, Manchester United have done both. They've won with style, with a swagger, where Arsenal have just a bit held on.
Sankofa coming in from the opposite flank. He will enjoy this last 10 minutes. I'm not sure I can say the same about his teammates, for whom it's been hard going. I think Charlton came here really expecting that. They wanted to give a good account of themselves. We know the stakes are high for Manchester United today, and Manchester United, when the pressure is on, invariably deliver, as that scoreline suggests they have done here. It's been pretty easy game for Mark Halsey to handle. He's penalised Jensen on this occasion.
Yeah, I think he's done pretty well all season, Mark Halsey, man. I think he's been one of the Premiership's top refs this year.
Comes from the south, but he's based very close to Old Trafford these days in the Bolton area. Here's Butt. Keane looking for a first goal of this season. Lisbie making Silvestre keep on his toes to the last. The French defender does very well. He's never let Manchester United down this season. Forlan, Nistelrooy. Beckham shaped for the first time cross. He cuts it back in turn to Butt. Forlan hasn't scored since that very significant now late winner against Chelsea. What about the 2 goals he got at Anfield as well? We always tend, when the season's coming to an end, to look back with the wisdom of hindsight. So yeah, if that hadn't happened, and Obviously Manchester United are holding up the Premiership trophy shortly, then we will take those occasions into account. Just as Arsenal will the sending off of Sol Campbell by the man in green here today. Look at the space for Roy Keane. Pick your spot. Well, if it was a long way away from the goal. Breaking all records, aren't they? 67,721. I think that's 15 more than the previous record that they've squeezed in. And with this kind of support and the financial backing it brings, very hard for the rest to keep pace. No wonder Arsenal need a new stadium. Johansson, the Finn, who's had a blonde rinse and looks more like a Swede.
Nice. Scandinavian anyway. I'll take that.
Lisbie, Bartlett still out there. And this large gathering in support of Manchester United are in very fine voice with 6 minutes to go. But to Veron, to Forlan, the three substitutes. A little triangle there. And of course he says no for Nick. There's an ear bent by Beckham.
How much of the ball is Roy Keane had to do now? Every time you try and play a passer and attack needs broken down, he just seems to be there just to get it, give it simple.
This is interesting. When he's there, he always gets the ball. Beckham's in that position at the moment. He's had to wait, and finally he does get it from Keane himself. And here's Forlan. Veron. Diving in was Diego Forlan. It then strikes O'Shea. Said he was going to get a goal one or another.
Well, they will. I mean, it's the one thing if you look at Manchester United defensive players. Brown hasn't got a league goal. Ferdinand hasn't got a league goal. O'Shea hasn't got a league goal. Silvestre, the only one with one league goal.
Yeah, but that was a winning goal against Leeds United here. Again at a time where they were closing the gap, weren't they? And when we talk about important moments in the season, he caught out the team then managed by Terry Venables, didn't he, with some very quick thinking to nip in decisively. So he's had his moment. We will see Leeds tomorrow, now managed by Peter Reid. The events of this afternoon will tell you how important that game at Highbury will be for Leeds United. For Manchester United, it's time to relax and enjoy the last few moments here as the rain comes down.
It'll be a booking.
Nistelrooy comes down.
Yeah, it's a real clattering from behind.
John Fortune has come forward to accept his punishment, which might include an acerbic comment or two from the Manchester United captain.
Well, the tackle from behind, he's got the ground. Everything that suggests the card's going to be yellow.
Of course, we've had campaigns, Andy, to stamp that tackle out with red cards, haven't we? Never quite got down to that being the rule, though it might just be in the laws. Anyway, it's yellow for Fortune. It's Beckham. And Fortune in front of the man that he's just felled. To head away. Brown. Ferdinand. But Manchester United followers would love one final goal here to sum up the afternoon, really. And Nistelrooy, Parker, still, as you've said once or twice already today, and fighting to the end.
Yeah, well, I've mentioned his growing reputation. Certainly done nothing today to harm it.
downside, but they're far bigger than any individual, and Gary Neville, who is a great club man, will know that. That foot damaged again, that original injury at the back end of last season. And he's got plenty of time in the summer to recover, though it will mean him missing out for England, who have 3 games to come. Ferdinand will know only too well. Bart-Williams impedes him. I wonder whether Scott Parker might get in a squad in those games. David Beckham is suspended, of course, from England's next competitive game. The only one competitive game in that 3. The last of the 3. William involved in the 2 in South Africa and at home to Serbia and Montenegro. We'll find out shortly, I suppose. Here's Forlan. There goes Sankofa, did well. Not an easy ball to defend. Veron. O'Shea. Keeps chasing. He knew that, particularly with the extra rain on the surface, it would stay in. They still want goal number 5, Manchester United. They have a corner. They have a minute. Not too much, I don't think, cause for time added on.
Well, I don't see the 4th official going anywhere near a board. Which,
so we've had substitutions, isn't it? It's supposed to be part of
30 seconds a substitute.
Let's not be picky. Silvestre. He just got a bit too much on it. Anything less than a Forlan might have knocked it in, or a forehead of somebody else. Here's Johansson, who's playing a cameo role today, and it's his 100th Charlton appearance. Not quite measured in the same way that Van Nistelrooy has done for Manchester United. A hat-trick for him. Manchester United have made sure that Arsenal have absolutely no margin for error. United's 24th win of their Premiership campaign. Their lead is enormous for the penultimate Saturday of the season, 8 points. Arsenal play twice before United finish off at Everton. They have to win twice as Manchester United say their Old Trafford farewells for this season. We are heading for Highbury. Manchester United 4, Charlton 1.
It's 14 wins from 17 games. They're unbeaten this calendar year. 45 points taken from 51 available. 8 wins from their last 9. 24 goals from their last 7 games. It's an extraordinary run, just at the right time, again. Now Quinn and Brian Robson are here. 8 points, Brian, the gap. Arsenal's response has to be a win, or the trophy comes back to Old Trafford.
Yeah,
the odds on that are what?
Manchester United, they've done their job. They've put all the pressure on Arsenal. Not just in that they've got to win the games, but now they've got to score goals as well to win those games.
A hat-trick for Ruud van Nistelrooy in his 100th appearance for the club. Birthday present for David Beckham. We thought they might go and then return to say thank you and goodbye to Old Trafford for this season, but it looks like they are staying before taking their leave full-time today. Niall Quinn, sum up what Manchester United have done in the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's been since Christmas. They played poorly at Middlesbrough and Boxing Day, but since then they've just sort of got the bit between the teeth and decided, OK, it's time we won a trophy. Bad year last year. Sir Alex Ferguson, I can't believe people were questioning him here. Loyal Man United supporters that the shareholders do. Their once-a-year meeting where they were questioning why he'd stayed on for another year. And look at them now, they'll all probably wave at him and say, brilliant, Sir Alex, stay another year or two. It's been awesome what they've done. And, you know, personally speaking, I used to play down the road here at Man City and we almost had a duty to dislike them, but you can't come here and watch class like that and dislike them. And I have to say, it was a pleasure to watch that performance today.
Collectively, and that individually from Ruud van Nistelrooy.
And the man who's made it all possible, the manager of Manchester United, Sir Alex Ferguson.
Thank you. Normally, for the last home match of the season, the players do the lap of honour. But at this moment in time, we don't think that's important. What is important is next Sunday at Goodison Park. But on behalf of all the players and my staff, I thank you for the magnificent support you have given us all season. You've been absolutely brilliant. And the players and staff have been fantastic for us. Give them a big round of applause. Well done.
Once again, Old Trafford, the players really appreciate your fantastic support.
Sir Alex Ferguson says thank you and goodbye to Old Trafford for this season. It's Goodison Park next, their last port of call for this season. Barclaycard Premiership looks like that. Manchester United, 8 points clear. Arsenal have 2 games in hand. They have to win them both. It's as simple as that in order to take it to the final Sunday. They play Leeds United tomorrow and Southampton on Wednesday night. We're there for Leeds tomorrow, 3:30 start, remember. Manchester United in the box seat. It's an enormous gap on the one hand, and yet if Arsenal do what they should, it's not a big lead, is it?
That's right. If the pressure wasn't on, you'd look Leeds United at home, who are going through a bad patch. Southampton, who have the FA Cup on the mind, even though Arsenal have, but they've still got the Championship on the mind. So you would expect that's 2 home games that Arsenal can definitely win. Sunderland, who've had a disastrous spell since Christmas, you know, it's an away game which Arsenal can win. So United have still got a real tough game at Goodison Park, and I think the manager's quite right there, you know. Running around the pitch at this stage maybe gives an impression that, you know, you've already won it. They know they've got a real tough game at Goodison and they're going to stay focused.
And they've got a tough game because, of course, Everton are still involved in a chase for a European place, and that would be some achievement for them, wouldn't it, where they'd be able to nail it down?
Absolutely, they've had a brilliant year. You know, Everton were a club in big trouble a couple of years ago. David Moyes came in, he's done a fantastic job. It may be that Arsenal want them to go one better and win this game, but, you know, the difference for me, you know, having watched Arsenal play last week, and how when they went 2-0 up, they started to showboat, felt that their name was on the trophy, if you like, and got hit by Bolton. Manchester United didn't stop till the final whistle went, and even when the final whistle is gone, they haven't stopped to reap the plaudits. They know there's another game on, and I think it's that little edge that has got them their noses in front this year, and we'll probably see them through.
Ruud van Nistelrooy, 3 more, Brian. Sir Alex Ferguson says he could go on to become the best ever at Old Trafford. It's after performances like this that you understand why he says that, isn't it?
I think there's every chance, you know, of being the best centre-forward that's ever been at this club, and there's been some great ones. But it's just his anticipation and the quickness and the skill and touch he's got on the ball when he's running at high pace. I mean, it's just absolute quality striker. And for me, yeah, no danger he can go on to be the best Man United striker ever.
This one, again, from a defensive point of view, you'd ask where the centre-halves have gone, and perhaps the keeper shouldn't get beaten. But is it because Nali takes it so quickly that Kiely doesn't get a chance to set himself?
I mean, he pulls away brilliantly, defender gets sucked into the centre, it's down, shot, bang. I mean, that's in slow motion, and it still looks really quick. And of course, Dino, you know, he can't really set himself up there to make himself big and get in a comfortable position. And it's that, you know, quickness, that brilliance, that stuff that, you know, other players dream about having and they don't have it. He's got it. I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, a great ball too by Beckham there. I mean, we questioned before the game his contribution. I mean, he was immense today. Will you ask the question?
Do they accept Van Nistelrooy's greed because 9 times out of 10 there's a positive outcome?
The lads do. You know, you look at that caption there, 5 attempts, 3 on target, 3 goals. So you can't knock him when you know, as long as he's putting the chances in. Sometimes he is a bit greedy, but sometimes that's why he scores good goals. The lads accept that, and they get on with the game, and they just try to keep creating chances for him.
Manchester United swept Charlton aside, but we shouldn't dismiss their contribution to the season. When we saw them back in October play Sunderland, they were bottom. What sort of year have they had?
Well, up and down really, they had such a good run after that game that Europe was a definite possibility at one stage. They were sitting in around 5th, 6th place at a time and needed to kick on. But I think, a lot of games caught up with them. The last 5 or 6 weeks they've looked a tired team. But I think they showed spirited efforts at certain times of the game today. I mean, they got back in the game straight away, courtesy perhaps of a mistake by Manchester United. And we felt, for that 20-minute spell until United got the second, that they were actually really acquitting themselves quite well. But of course, once United upped the gears, Charlton couldn't live with it.
Sometimes I think it's if you lose important players, and to me Charlton, with Rufus and Fish, they're important to Charlton, and when you lose players like that who are good defenders and then other people are coming in to fill in, when you're playing against the best like Man United, they expose you. And I think that's where Charlton in certain aspects of the game I thought did quite well. They passed the ball quite nice, the movement was pretty good, but every time United actually attacked them through the central positions, and Solskjaer, Giggs, Van Nistelrooy just made that little bit of movement, they did expose the lack of quality there really.
Speaking of losing players, I'm sure come the end of the season we'll all sit and think and we'll look at particular moments and big games, occasions when points have been dropped and they should have been won. But I wonder if ultimately it might all come down to the fact that Roy Keane's come back and had a huge impression on Manchester United at the same time that Patrick Vieira has been injured and has no part to play in Arsenal's season. Is that fair?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that Patrick Vieira has made a big difference to Arsenal slipping up of late. Roy Keane, he's come back in, but it hasn't just been Roy as far as I'm concerned. It's been most of the players have been there. All the best players have been back, they've been fit since Christmas, and that's why they went on this tremendous run.
Sorry to interrupt. Let's go live to the tunnel and join Jeff Shreves.
Rude, is that the perfect way to celebrate your 100th appearance for Manchester United?
Well, first of all, we wanted to win today, and my 100th game today and 3 goals, so that was a nice day.
What do you put your goal-scoring touch down to?
I know, you can see the whole team is playing well, and we're creating a lot of chances. And I'm a striker. I'm on the end of that, and with the service I get, the players make it, not easy for me, but they help me a lot with that.
Is your thought process, as soon as you get the ball, how can I score?
Well, yeah, you get some balls like Beck's ball for the fourth one. It's just a magnificent ball, and then you see the goal and you want to finish it.
Roy, you have to be greedy to be a striker, but when he puts them away like he does, do you accept that?
Yeah, he's doing very well. He's done a top striker and he's doing very well for us. But as Ruud says, it's all about the team. But we're delighted to have Ruud, and the form he's shown for us has been brilliant.
It was a little uncomfortable at 1-1. What happened on the goal?
Well, obviously Roy should have cleared it better. No, maybe I should have turned on it, but we're both disappointed. But that's football, To be fair to the lad, he took it well. But these things happen in football, and we bounced back well from it.
Was it all about mental strength today, do you think?
It's been a long week. Obviously, people are automatically think we won the trophy. We're in a good position, but as I said all week, we need to stay focused, and that's what the team done today. And we still have a hard match next week.
What about yourself? Are you back to full fitness now? Because there were a few doubts, weren't there?
Well, it's been a long, hard season. Obviously, after my hip operation and going back to the World Cup, when a lot of people not far from me showed a lot of disrespect for me. But it's nice to be back, and I'm feeling stronger all the time.
Did you feel you wanted to prove them wrong?
No, as I said, I was quite confident that once I got a number of games under my belt, and I'd be back to where I belong. But there's a long way to go yet.
Ruud, do you feel you've got one hand on the title yet?
No. There doesn't exist one hand on the title. I mean, we have to prove it till the last game. We want to stay focused on that. We're not celebrating any kind of title today.
Roy, how difficult will the last game at Everton be, and do you think you'll go that far? You'll have to win it there? Well, we just have to wait and see, of course. Obviously Arsenal are a strong team at home, and you'd always expect them to do the home game, so there's a good chance we'll go to the last game, but a couple of months ago we would have took that, and we'll be ready for next Sunday no matter what. Well, you were both magnificent today. We couldn't split you, so you're both, in fact, the Barclaycard men of the match. You keep the bottle. Well, I'll leave you two to fight it out. Well done. Okay.
The panel, Quinn and Robson, so how come you couldn't separate them?
Well, it's two different sort of players playing two different roles in the game. Roy Keane organised the game, was great in the middle, was the strength. He was fantastic. Every time a Charlton player turned to take on and bring the ball forward, he was there like a clamp on top of him. And when he won it, he set up the play brilliantly. But of course, at the other end, Ruud, I mean, we spoke here as the game was gone, he did the hard stuff. And two different styles of play, two different things that are necessary in the game, but both done to perfection.
Is that the hardest part of the game, what Van Nistelrooy does?
That is the hardest part. That's why they get paid fortunes and they're worth fortunes on the transfer market. I thought it was an excellent performance from two in the positions that they play. So that's why we couldn't really split them, even though Ruud had scored a hat-trick.
So Manchester United win and go 8 points clear at the top. It's all eyes on Arsenal tomorrow. That's tomorrow, of course, 3:30, slightly later than usual, 3:30 for the start. Arsenal meet Leeds, live, Sky Sports 1. Before all of that, 5 o'clock today, Southampton meet Bolton. It's a pay-per-view offering, channel 433 for more information, and it could affect that. Who goes down? What a day. We want our trophy back, they said. Well, at the minute, it looks like it might be on the way back. Join us tomorrow.
We've had the 2 games left before today. We had to win today's game to give us the proper chance. We now look forward to next Sunday at Goodison. Marvellous game in prospect, and we're aware it's going to be a difficult game, but we've done the best thing we could do, is win convincingly today.
Do you think it will go to the last day?
It's difficult to say, but we've got to prepare our own minds for that.
And is that right, you're not going to watch the game tomorrow, the Arsenal game?
I don't think I will. I've got my grandson's birthday party tomorrow, so it's a great diversion.
You might just have an eye on the result, though.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What did you think of the way the game panned out today?
Well, I thought the tempo of our game and the speed we played in the first half was fantastic. And we got off to a great start with David's goal. A bit of a shock when we lost the goal, but we kept the momentum going. We didn't stop. We kept pressing onto our opponents, Charlton. Played some great, quick football. And going in 3-1 at half-time was a great result for us.
What about Ruud van Nistelrooy and his contribution to your comeback?
It's unbelievable. I mean, he scored 3 today. It's a phenomenal performance. The man has improved in every aspect of his game. You see it every game now. So we're very pleased with him.
In terms of the all-time greats, not just at Old Trafford, how good is he in your eyes?
Well, I think he's shown what he is, how good he is. I don't think it's a matter of comparing with other players. Ruud van Nistelrooy is Ruud van Nistelrooy. And we're delighted to see that.
He almost looks like he wants to win it on his own with his attitude of recent.
He's been fantastic. He's improving all the time. He's got parts of his game he wants to develop, and he's keen to do that, and you can see that today again.
Of course, he'll get a lot of plaudits, but what about the performance of Roy Keane today, who had been written off by some?
Driven today. Well, I mean, I don't know if people can write off a player with that ability. I mean, obviously, it's a difficult operation. He's gradually getting through it, and I think today sort of confirmed that he's back.
Has he only just back to full fitness, would you say?
I think he's needed time. Yeah, I do. I think that the more games the better. And getting the rest. You know, he did a week's rest last week, which helps him. You know, and he's got 8 days rest now before the Everton game, and he'll need that rest, and he'll prepare himself properly for the game.
Not just because what might be at stake, but how difficult a game is it at Goodison?
Well, they've had a fantastic season, and I think the enthusiasm that David Moyes has brought to the club is there for everyone to see, and it won't be an easy game.
It was 3-0 here, but it doesn't tell the whole story, does it?
No, they played very well here.
Now, the crowd are all singing, we want our trophy back, we've won the league. Is it all about keeping that out of the players' minds?
Well, I think we showed our focus today. I think we've been showing our focus in the last few weeks. The boys have got firmly got their eye in the title. They want it, and they're playing like that. There's still time to go. There's still games to go. Arsenal have 3 games. We've got 1 game, and we're not going to rest. So
the biggest mistake you could make, and you won't allow, is to think you've won it. Triumphalism, if you like.
We don't think that. You can see that from the players.
Well done today.
Thanks.
8 points clear at the top. Let's hear from his opposite number. Here's Alan Kirbishley.
Well, Alan, you gave them a fright for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I think, in all fairness, we done as well as we could. I think they gave everything they had. But yeah, we got back to 1-1, and we wasn't doing too bad. But I think the 2 goals in quick succession before half-time, finished it off really.
Overall, the fact that you had so many players in defence out and you're up against one of the best teams in the country, I mean, it was a huge ask, wasn't it?
And I think they've done themselves proud. That's all I can ask from them, and they gave it their lot, and that will take us on to better things, I hope. But yeah, it's very difficult. You come here and you've got so many players missing, and I've got players playing out of position. That was the most difficult thing. But they battled away and they gave everything, and I think that anyone watching it would say that as well. So we haven't laid down here.
In terms of resources, what's the difference between Charlton and Manchester United?
Well, I see us, obviously the resources, they're massive, and you can't even begin to think how far apart we are. But, I like to think there's a lot of things going for us in terms of similar to Man United. I've been around a long time like Alex. We've got a good sprinkling of young players in there, homegrown like they have. And, Alex ain't just one thing here. He's built a stadium, he's built a whole thing. And it's very similar to what I think I've done at Charlton. So, there's a lot of similarities, but obviously there's a big difference.
Arsenal against Leeds tomorrow afternoon. It's a must-win game for Arsenal now. Anything less than that, and Manchester United will be champions this weekend. You can see how it pans out tomorrow. Sky Sports 1 at 3:30. St James's